Great morning, everyone. Good to see you. Great to be here with you. Oh, as we get started this morning, it's about 25 minutes here into the New York. The bell rings this morning. You can see right now Nasdaq coming down into this area of support over here. You got right below that 10,913 support, which just held twice last week. Nasdaq equity markets off. Nasdaq's off 2.5%. S&P off 1.7. Dow off 1.2. Woo! Do you think the market wants that stimulus? I do. So we talked about maybe the market pushing the Fed to act, but it looks like it's pushing Washington to act. Now the markets are very vulnerable over here. They're very vulnerable for an even steeper pullback. We're already looking at a pretty decent pullback over here, right? We're already looking at a 12% pullback. All right, now a couple of things that I just want to frame this. First of all, this is obviously a super important session over here. You could see the S&P looking to attack over here. I don't take the break, right? If you're gonna be looking to take the short over here, it's after you get a retest, and then on the resumption, you position yourself into the trade. All right. So first of all, no FOMO. No FOMO. Second of all, we're into critical support over here. This is the place to lean into if we resume out of it. Last night, I was talking about over here as we closed over here in New York on this trend line support over here. If we resumed out of it, that's a place to lean in buy. And I said, I think the Nasdaq would actually be leading on the upside if that happened. Never got the signal for entry, right? You never made a higher high than the previous price bar. Straight down. That's what keeps you that high probability trades. You can't predict the market. You could just keep layering edge upon edge in your favor. What market you're trading, what time of day you're trading, right? So everyone, again, my plan remains the same. The risk to reward here now warrants the upside. But by the way, we could remove this trend line now. We could remove that. If we resume off here, if New York could get a little funky. We got to be careful over here. I'm gonna do my best to navigate everyone through this areas over here. Could you get a spike down and then a resumption up? A higher high at this point, holding this. It's on the daily. You need to close below this trend line in order to say that we broke it, and then the party's not over. Look what happened over here. Here you had a resumption downwards. I took this short over here, by the way. I took that short over here. And then right away, boom, you got to be careful, right? So that I'm looking, if we hold here, the risk to reward to the upside is grand. Fear is in the water, right? You smell that fear everywhere. Now's the time. We got to just be technical traders, hold our ground, and see what happens. What else are we looking at? Let's look at the Nasdaq before we look at the Dow. Nasdaq, you could see right into the prime trend line as well. You could see you have two spikes over here. I don't need to do this. I mean, but I'm going to do this just for fun really quick. Those two spikes over there, right? That takes us right down into the horizontal support that we touched twice last week. All right? Great area if we hold to lean into to buy. Now, bigger picture over here, things are getting much worse as far as the economy is concerned. Things are getting much worse. Politics aside, governors got to start opening up here. They got to start opening up and give people a chance to eat, people to pay their rent, a chance to pay their mortgages, right? Things are looking very, very, very bad. Are the equity markets the economy? No. Could you get a big pull? Rightfully so because of it? Yup. Let's see what happens over here. At the end of the day, my base case remains very much the same. First of all, if you saw yesterday, the Fed, Powell said, one of the only things he said, that was a disaster of a press conference. That was a disaster of a press conference. Do you think he was choking on his own lies? But one thing that was said, that they're going to continue their $120 billion of purchases, right? That's $1.5 trillion a year expansion of the Fed's balance sheet. with no additional expense. That just from that alone, no additional QE. Now the base case remains the same. Washington, one way or another, is going to be coming in with stimulus, right? Yep, we know politics is being played on both sides of the aisle as buy the dip. Question is, when do you lean in, or how much further downside do you have? You could have a lot. We could have a lot more downside. We have a similar structure setting up that we did back over here, right? When we had this big sell-off, the slight reprieve, and then a boom move down. Could that happen? It's more closer to here. Sorry. Closer to here. Could that happen again? Yeah, we're watching it. We're tracking it. And if it is, we can make money on both sides. No problem. The dollar, let's look at the Dow really quick as well. Right? We're actually still testing that trend line, still holding as support. There's also horizontal support over there as well. Let's see. Look, you hear the hesitation? Obviously, the equity markets look like they're on. Someone this morning, Stefan said, everything's on a razor's edge. That's exactly correct, right? Here's where you need to be really strong, mentally tough, pick your spot, because from here, I said at the beginning of the week, it was such a critical week. Here we are back to where the week started, back at this critical support, right? Let's navigate it as the markets open together in 20 minutes. There's no clear read. Anyone who has clarity right now is just people don't like when there's no clarity. By the way, do you see what happened here on the dollar so far? We were rejected over here. We never cleared the 93.64 support. So everyone's like, "Oh, I want clarity. Why aren't you giving me?" You can't. I can't tell you how happy I am. How happy I am to be navigating this so well, right? I didn't buy the breakout to the upside. I didn't buy the breakout to the downside. I'm waiting for that clarity. It could go one way or another. I'm not sold on it. For me, that is like at the top of my game. Now, there are those that could see it, and then there are those that can't. That's fine. There are people in here, right, who see the analysis. They're able to strengthen up their own offer it. And there are those who are looking just like, tell me when to buy, right? So, again, this is a tough situation to be in. The toughest situation we had in all year, and it's been a phenomenal year, was over in this area. In this area over here, this was so tough to trade. This whole area, and that was a decent amount of time. Let's call it, the beginning of April through the end of May was so difficult to trade because I didn't know if we were going back down to 23 or we were going up to 41. We could have went any other way. That was the most difficult time to trade. That's the only time of year that I stayed. Well, actually, the truth is, I actually, for this full month on the S&Ps, put up a little bit of a loss. And then on this trade, I got out of this trade so early. Big mistake. And that was because I just got back to break even from 3 or 4 or 5 trades over here. It was a tough time to trade. It's not always easy. It's been a wonderful year with clear trends. We've been all over the place. Whether it was short in oil, the moves on gold, the move on the euro US dollar, whatever the case has been. Right now, though, is a difficult situation. It is what it is. You got to be tough enough to make it. Otherwise, you don't have what it takes. Let me come down over here 1 minute over here. Flash sell on silver. Let's go into gold and silver, by the way, over here. Let's get into gold and silver. First of all, let me finish this up over here. Going on the daily, on the dollar, you could see a big wick over here. This is like a hanging man, right? Gravestone, opposite of a hanging man. Obviously a very bearish pattern, but that I think needs to close negative for that to really come to fruition. So far right now on the dollar, right, which is not giving any type of signal. You can see that little trend line we were working off of. We're coming back down and testing that. That could now be a support and then a roll off and higher highs. That could be the break. But Jordan, you said this could have been the break. Yeah, but I also said we got to clear at least first this resistance up here. It hasn't happened yet. I don't need to force my own will on the market. I'm looking for the market to show me, and I'm looking to follow the flow. I'm keeping myself safe and protected until it's time to attack. We'll do gold before we get into silver. It looks like we're breaking down over here, right? It looks like we're on the verge of not even close. We're into the support of the trend line, right? We're into the support of the trend line. For this to be a technical breakdown, we need to lose 1900. There's nothing else to say over here. This is a resumption off of this. It's going to have a lot of people off sides. I'm not looking to sell gold or silver. If you break 1900, time to exit the trade. Any swing traders, get on the side and wait to pick back up long. Gold and silver remain bull. Technically still very, very beautiful. It's very solid, right? What about on silver? 2600, lose that area. Are we going to test it this morning? Maybe. Watch out. That could lead to a bigger pullback, right? But right now, still, right? Look over here. Look at that spike. Let's see what happens over here. Hold the line. Hold the line right now. You think I sound upset, kid? You think I sound upset? You don't, I mean, whatever. There we go. Hold on one second. RC, Jordan, all bull analysts got wrong yesterday. Accept it. RC, what did I get wrong? RC, my brother, right? Let's take a minute to deal with the trolls. Smack them on its head. Whack a troll. Whack a mole. Did I not say that I expect or looking for the markets here? If they hold this support and resume up, it's a place to buy, right? That the Nasdaq will lead. Did you get an entry signal, RC? Did you make a higher high? Listen, either you know how to trade or you know how to troll. You're not good at either one of them. Abraham, some people get it, some people don't, you know? Some people get it, some people don't. All right, back in. What's going on over here? Nasdaq breaking down. Into that support though, right? We got support over here at 10,934. Watch out. The reason you don't take the breakdown over here because traders are amazing, or it could be algos right now, at taking out stops and then pulling it up, right? That's why even if you break down losing 10,913 over here, right where we're at right now, if we lose it, right? Maybe we go down all the way. That's a big drop on the Nasdaq. That could be another 150 points. You wait for the retest, you wait for the bounce, and then if you resume out of it, that's the place to short. That's the place to short. Yeah, O'Brien. I mean, those that know, and those that don't, It's all good in the hood. For when it comes to metals, great question, by the way. When it comes to metals, I'm more focused in on a couple of things. The increase in the U.S. of its twin deficits, the increase in debt, right? And then also looking at the Fed's increase in its balance sheet. The gold kind of tracks two things, right? It's tracking the increase of the Fed's balance sheet, and it's also tracking the increase in global yielding debt across the world. This morning, the UK, the Bank of England, was floating out the idea of rates going negative there as well. That's a trend. Gold future is extraordinarily bright. Gold is underpriced by a large margin. Gold is way underpriced right now. Take it easy on RC. Wait, we got defender of RC over here? Oh my goodness. Guys, so anyway, I don't need to get into that. I want to focus here on the markets. That's what's important this morning. This is an important day. DXY, again, so far this morning, bouncing off of, see that trend line over here? This was resistance. This whole broke it. Now so far tested as support, a resumption off of this. This could trigger the counter trend move on the dollar. Although when I say counter trend, because the trend is down, the trend is going to remain down, but a counter trend move is one that we could ride because it could be a big one. We could be targeting all the way up here at 95, or even higher in this area towards 90, 95, 90, up all the way to 96, this trend line. We'll talk about it as it happens. Right now, though, let's keep going through the markets. Let's keep our feel. The equity market's open in 10 minutes, right? Equity market's open in 10 minutes. Let's see what happens. Bitcoin on the defensive, but notice a couple of things. Notice that through all of this madness yesterday, Bitcoin was probably the most stable. And then on top of that, you also notice that Ethereum and the rest of the alts, that's not a trend line to focus in on. If anything, it's on the verge of breaking. The angle has to be correct, right? So Ethereum, by the way, still up on the day. Imagine that. Imagine a cryptocurrency up while the markets are off 2%. The equity markets are off 2% with the strong dollar. Gold, silver down. Look at this. Alt season's getting ready. Bitcoins are going to be going bull. Right, that starts when I say start, I mean the break of the tight correlation is really going to be pronounced after the first quarter of 2021. Notice how yesterday Bitcoin was probably one of the most stable assets throughout all of that. That signal. Jordan, is it cheaper for the Fed to hold the market than force a short squeeze? This is a really interesting comment over here. It says, so by the way, Powell is saying, as before we get right into the charts over here, Powell is saying that forward guidance is a powerful stimulus. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's telling us that rates will stay at zero for at least 3 years, creates no sense of urgency of acting now to do business. If rates are going to be staying at zero, do you have to go ahead and get that loan? Do you have to borrow money before rates go up? No, which is the whole point of effective stimulus. Now, why would the Fed want to do that? First of all, I happen to be under the impression that these diabolical people who run the Federal Reserve, and I do not think that, Bernanke and Powell and Yellen, listen, they're puppets at the end of the day. The people who really, really run and own these central banks, these diabolical individuals, they happen to also be very, very smart. Very smart. The whole reason they're keeping, they just want to keep the game afloat at this point. Why do they want to keep the game afloat? They're looking to keep the game afloat, to keep everything going and solvent as long as possible until they're able to make that next transition. They're always looking for that power grab. What's the next power grab? It's introducing the central bank digital tokens for the Federal Reserve itself, which eventually is going to be the Lehman. Eventually, it'll be the Federal Reserve sacrificed at the altar, right? They're going to be introducing their digital dollars. The Fed have any room left to act? Yeah, they have a whole lot of room left to act. So what they're doing right now is they're buying time. You hear about the Fed put, right? The reason that the Fed has backed off, maybe I have it right over here as well. This is the Fed's purchases, right? Of corporate bonds, ETFs. They've all but stopped. Why did they stop? They stopped because the market was trading at all-time highs. They backed off the pedal. As soon as they start coming back in, that's where that's as low as they're willing to go, but they will come back in. Of course, they took their foot off the gas. The markets are trading at all-time highs, right? They're just trying to keep things stable. They're trying to buy time, right? As they finish working out all of the system's unsustainable. They know that as best as everyone else. So what are they going to do? They're looking to change it. When they change it, man, right now with the dollar, the most laundered currency in the world is the US dollar, cash. It's easy as pie, it's easy as can be. Once they make it a digital token, you're talking about tyranny. Bitcoin's the chance for freedom. Unemployment numbers came out strong. By the way, all right, let's keep going over here. I need to get a good read on the markets here this morning. It's very important. We're going to keep going through the charts over here, and then we're going to come back. We'll have a lot of time to spend together, and we'll be able to look at what's going on together, getting into it. Having some coffee, having some tea, and just talking about it all. That's not what's going on right now. So here we're looking at, that's true, Shane. Time is the most valuable commodity in the world. US dollar, Japanese yen, everyone has been all over this, right? It was starting on Monday. that I said that this is the first time in a couple of months that the US dollar, Japanese yen, after going sideways, consolidating for months, look interesting, right? It was a clear as day conquering the market setups over here. We looked at that yesterday in the live stream as well. Whether you took, whether you took this one over here, the breakdown, the retest, the resumption down, or this is the one that I brought up to everyone as it happened, the break in real time, the breakdown, the retest, and then everyone should be all over this trade if anyone wanted to take it. What else should you say about it right now? Well, there's nothing else to say. You see the dollar strong, right? Or strong-ish, and the yen is stronger, right? Very clear. It's all happening on the charts. Do you chase it now? No. What should you be targeting? If I was in this trade, I'm looking to target down over here. This is just my first bit of support. I'm not looking to even take profits there. You know me, I'm looking to push, right? Avoid sideways markets, and then when something breaks, you're looking to push it, take some profit into the support. But if things start breaking down over here, when I say things, if things start breaking down over here, the equity markets, we're going to see that flight into the Japanese yen. For sure, Japanese yen is stronger than the dollar when we get into to safe haven flows. Swiss franc also. We'll look at all of FX to get that feel. What happens if the equity markets rally over here, right? Well, you gotta have over here. This is the last swing high in that area over there, right? Trade back above there. It's time to exit that trade. It's time. It just didn't. What? But Jordan, I was into profit. I gave back profit. Yeah. If you want to be successful in this game, you got to get used to that. That can't be a problem. You just want to make sure you're cutting your losses short, and you want to give trades the opportunity to be pushed and fall into profit. Yeah. If you lose 1900, that's where you want to exit. Hold on one second. Eduardo. If you lose 1990, 1900, timeout. Hold on. Gold. If we lose 1900 on gold, at that point, as a swing trader, it's time to exit the trade. Before then, this looks beautiful. You have this bit. You're making new all-time highs on gold. All-time highs, right? What did we say as we made the all-time highs? That's when we looked for the pullback right over here, before it even happened, right? Went on to make new all-time highs. You had this big sell-off. No, everyone lean in. We're back into support. We've been consolidating since, right? What's coming? What's on the horizon? Stimulus. It's coming, right? Boom. If the 1900 breaks and you're a swing trader, get on the sidelines, pick up a bigger place. All right, everyone, let's keep going over here. Let's go back and look at, we're about 2 minutes from the U.S. equity markets open. Just everyone have this. Do not get into the FOMO phase, right? You don't chase momentum. You're preemptive of it. If the markets hold over here, if they hold this prime trend line over here, we're at support. It's a big one. Every time we've come into it, it's been the place to lean into. If we start making higher highs, that's a place to take the entry. For sure, your risk to reward. What's your risk? If the low of today would be where your stop is. If you make that higher high, you would have a tight stop loss right below the trend line, right below the low of the day. That's your risk. What's your reward? Still be targeting somewhere around at least 3,500. Forget trying to. What if you hold equities? What is the average return during this immense bull run we've had over the last 12 years? More or less, let's call it 8%, right? You pick your spots. You could do that a few times a year over and over again easily. Barbara, the course teaches you how to trade profitably. The course teaches you how to navigate the markets, to see the markets, to understand the markets. It teaches you what type of risk per trade you should be using, what proper risk and trade management is, how to see the markets, how to find setups, how to choose the best setup, and how to take advantage of that. So I don't know if that means learn and earn, or what that means. But anyone starting the course, right? If you think like, should I make money right away? No. The goal is to get you to break even or better if you're losing money. within the first 3 to 5 weeks. And then from there, move towards constantly profitable. Yes, I'm staying on the 8-hour. Now, everyone knows during the crisis itself, we're not in a crisis. During the crisis itself, I was on shorter time frames. That's not what's happening right now, right? That's not what's happening right now. Where I'm on the 8-hour, only the 8-hour. Model 3 Life, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the thumbs up. Definitely appreciate that. If you don't own physical gold, what are you doing? That's true. All right, let's keep going. Markets are opening right now. We're going to watch them. We're going to watch them quick. We're watching also the dollar. By the way, the dollar, everyone just wants, is very important. It continues to be a dollar story, right? This could be a massive fake out if we don't resume off and we fall back below this support. Why is that support? Well, it was resistance for this last week. It's been resistance. We broke above it yesterday after the Fed. We never took out the resistance over here at 93.64, which I very specifically said over the last couple of days we needed to do if it's going to be any type of counter trend. We're back in here touching that broken resistance as support, right? So a resumption off here now after the retest. That I believe, and I don't know for sure, I need confirmation on the chart, right? First bit of confirmation is breaking 93.64. But I believe if we resume off here, that's going to be the start of a counter trend move on the dollar. Now, I'm not looking for that, meaning I'm not sold. It could go one way or another. If during New York today we fall back in here, right, that was a fake breakout. Sometimes those could be very powerful. You get a lot of traders who just react too soon instead of waiting for confirmation caught on the wrong side of the market, and this thing could give a lot of juice to the downside. I'm sorry that it's unclear. I hope that's very clear of exactly what you're looking at. It takes patience to make money in this game. It takes patience to make money in this game. By the way, markets are down. Let's say remarkably is such a terrible word, but the Nasdaq's down almost 3%. S&P down 1.7%. Gold is off 1%. That's not really so much, huh? Think about that. That's not so much so let's keep going. So we looked at the US dollar, Japanese yen. Everyone should have gone into that strong. Someone said they lost money on that. Maybe you just joined the channel this morning then. Listen, if sincerely, the best piece of advice I'm going to give today, if you're trading and you're losing money consistently, that means you don't have a trading plan. You don't have a strategy. Just stop trading and just start watching. You're here, right? You stumbled upon us for whatever reason. Thank the Google algorithm, perhaps. But just give yourself a few days here of not trading, learning, investing in yourself. It's going to then open up your eyes to see what needs to be done. You'll start spending more time. You'll start learning a lot more. And then all of a sudden, as we're doing our analysis, you're going to know exactly what you want to buy. You're going to know exactly when you want to sell. And you're going to learn, wow, actually patience pays. And you're going to be approaching the markets in a whole different way. So I do invite you, if you're new here right now, go ahead and subscribe. Join us, right? There's a link in the description below, by the way, for a Telegram channel if you want to be alerted when we go live every day, Monday through Friday. Boom. All right. U.S. equities are opening now, right? Too soon to make anything. Too soon to make any move, right? Again, but you guys, this is a critical point. This is make or break. You got a lot of people who are going to be giving away money today. We're there to wait and take it when the right time arrives. Look at so far what I see, and I'm focusing here on the equity markets because it's so important. I'm going to get all through FX. By the way, the pound, right? I haven't even looked yet, but I know that the pound is taking a beating today after they signaled that they could be going to negative interest rates. But really quick, you have today's Thursday. That already happened. That's when they signaled that they could be going to negative interest rates, right? Nothing else on the calendar coming up the rest of the week. So we're all, next Wednesday is a big deal for the euro. Not much else going on. It's a light calendar, which means it's all coming down to TA, to technical analysis. What I see over here is stops were taken out. Not only were stops taken out over here, you got those momentum chasers who this was their trigger and went short right into the support. Do you ever sell into support? Listen, one of the quickest adjustments you can make in your trading, aside from getting the correct risk per trade and correct position sizing, which is the single most important, everyone focuses in on entries. You could have terrible entries and really good risk management and trade management and still do okay, right? Then clean up your entries, you're going to do a lot better. Never sell into support. This is support right over here, right? We've held it 1, 2, coming back over to here, resistance. Never sell into, wait for if it breaks, we'll get a nice break. We wait for the retest, and then on the resumption out is when we attack. All right? No, we're just going to keep navigating it. There's nothing going on here. Everything and everyone wants clarity. You got to wait for that clarity. Let's check out the Euro US dollar right now as we get back into FX, and then I'm going to peek right back into the metals and Bitcoin and check in on them and all right now. So Euro US dollar, right? Just as the DXY, and by the way, the DXY is heavily weighted to the Euro US dollar. Just as it didn't break out over here at the 93.64, that's resistance. We needed to clear that. That was what we said needed to happen, right? It hasn't happened yet. And then you see on the Euro US dollar that same area, that resistance I'm just showing you, that's the support here, right? And so far that's holding. Now this over here should be resistance on the way up. If we're able to come over here and that holds as watch, that's an important spot. If the dollar gets soft here, and we come up this high, on the way up, watch as you get into over here. Not only is that trend line resistance, by the way, what you're learning or what you're seeing or what you're observing here right now is the same thing on any market. If you trade individual stocks, it's the same exact behavior. As you come up into this resistance right now, follow my mouse on the upside. That's also horizontal. That's also resistance horizontally. That's an area. That's going to be the test right there. And if we get rejected there, at that point, that's a big signal. That's a big signal that's a trade that you could take to the downside. Why? Do you see over here this trend line? And I had this trend line in from since July, right? I said as long as we stay above it, we're bullish on the Euro US dollar or break below. That sets up a test right over here of this 12-year trend line going back to 2008. That's a big one, right? If we break below it, then we're seeing a big move on the dollar and we're coming back down into this trend line over here. Always have that awareness. So what does that mean for you right now, right? Is there a signal, an active signal on the dollar right now? Absolutely not. On the Euro US dollar, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if I'm going to get long on the euro versus the dollar again, I'm going to have to wait until I clear above that resistance, trend line resistance I just showed you, and above that horizontal resistance. Getting above there, then it's a lot nicer of a trade, right? And then I'll be targeting up here. Again, listen, have the whole perspective, have that whole mindset that you don't know anything, right? You don't know anything. Don't ever impose your will on the market. Right now, we're seeing that perhaps you got to read what's going on. Those stops were taken out into the support. If it's going to bounce, here's where it's going to bounce, but it's too soon. It's too soon for us to even get involved. Now, let's look at the S&P 500 really quick. A higher high over there, that's a place that I think is a good place to get involved. That's a buy if you make that higher high. If you make that higher high, right? Because your risk to reward is fantastic. Not so much on the Nasdaq. Stay on the sidelines on the Nasdaq still, right? I'm not buying into resistance. I just told you all, don't sell into support, don't buy into resistance. That's resistance right there. What about on the Dow? What's the Dow looking like? So far, again, you have that break, and this was resistance in this channel over here, this trend line. Now it's holding us support, right? A resumption off here. So this is resistance, right? Let me check on the daily, by the way, first. That's a tough one when I say that's resistance. Why is that tough one? Because it's got to be a close on the daily below. I still would not be a buyer here of the Dow if we made a higher high. I like the S&P out of the 3 indexes today if we are able to break off there. And does the higher high include the RIC? Yes, Chris. Great question. Absolutely. It includes the wick for me, 100%. By the way, let's jump in on Tesla really quick, right? Because listen, I'm so sorry. This is why I do not like individual stocks, trading them from a swing trader's perspective. Why? Because I told everyone, right, that's where we said, all right, we're into support. Now that's time to lean in and to buy. If you resume out of it, you gapped up to over here, but then you got the fill as you track down over to here. And then I've been saying yesterday in the live stream, if we break below this support, you got to sell, right? You gap down below there into pre-market. It's very difficult to trade individual stock. It's not a good market. It's a very bad market, right? Now, if you're looking to go ahead and you're looking to dollar cost average into indexes, if you're looking to trade off the indexes, that's one thing. If you have a long-term time horizon, individual stocks are great. But if you're looking to make money, right, week to week, month to month, stocks is not the best market to trade. Now, you can do exactly what we do, trading stocks, because a market's a market. It's all the same. You learn how to trade one market. By the way, take a look at FX. It's a smooth trading market that gives you the ability to position out 24 hours a day. It's a huge, huge success. Yes, Tesla's good for long-term investors. I'm thinking of buying my kid shares for sure. Yes, Brent. I mean, it's a great question. Just to clear it up and really quick, right? Coming back over here, I'm gonna go. Let me go to a 3-day time frame. Starting at the beginning. That's not very clear. Starting at the beginning of January 2020. Look over here, just really quick, everyone. This should take more than 10 seconds. You said the dollar trading at 96.64, and over the next 2 months rose up to 100. Super strong dollar. Dollar was stronger than everything except gold during that same period. During that same period, gold went from 1472, right, all the way up to 1600. Gold was stronger than the dollar. Gold could rise with a rising dollar. Absolutely. Boom. Could you mention the current time or have a clock on the screen? What for? Kyle, you don't have a phone, or you're not seeing time? I mean that's good stuff that you're able to use the analysis to go ahead and profit. That's where we keep. But I mean, that's 50% in one day. If you're in it for the long term, you got to have the correct position size. All right, let's keep going over here. Let's see what's happening with the markets really quick. Let me check in with gold and silver, and then we're going to start running through FX over here. Not too much going on yet. Markets are just getting open here. It's only been the first 15 minutes of trading. We're seeing the Nasdaq bounce a little bit off of, again, that support and taking out those stops. Gold so far, DXY, by the way, is bid this morning since New York has come to the open over here. Bid off of that trendline support, but it's in no man's land. Right now, I'm marking this as resistance, and I'm marking that as support, and we're in the middle, okay? We'll wait, and we'll watch that. Gold, still into that support over here. By the way, this trend line goes down all the way down to here, right? You could just put it on the, it doesn't need to be there, but just so everyone has a little bit of awareness, like that's the trend line that you're focusing in on right now on gold. You're still holding it, right? You could break down here during this session, and by the time gold closes today, wick back up Don't ever trade the breakdown. Yes, sometimes something could break down and get away from you without giving you an entry. Okay, that's fine. You let it pass and you get the next one. And I don't follow the VIX, right? The VIX didn't buy yesterday's volatility too much, huh? Wasn't too worried. I don't follow the VIX because it doesn't add anything to my analysis. It doesn't give me any edge whatsoever. One of the greatest assets you could have is taking something so complex and difficult as the market and making it as simple as possible. The VIX to me does not. I know when the VIX is high. I see the volatility across the indexes. By the way, if you're here this morning, if you're new, welcome. Go ahead and do subscribe. We go live every day at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, a half hour before the market's open. But if you're here and if you learned anything new, go ahead and just smash that like button. Help support the channel. It also it just amps me up and it gets me into the flow. So really, if you learn, the time is shared freely. If you learn anything, go ahead and smash that like button. Show a little bit of love this way. Silver over here, I talked about if you break down, right? Again, you have to wait for that close. Above 26, the formation here is very bullish. You could also see that's also a descending triangle forming, a very bullish pattern after this huge move up. Now, not only that, you also see the same thing that's happening on gold. You see this triangle pattern that's developing. They're both bullish. So to keep it easy on yourself, above 26, which would be the bottom of that descending triangle, is ultra bullish here. It continues to be bullish. If we lose that and you're a swing trader, if you own physical silver, are you selling? Absolutely not, right? And again, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's gold or silver, you've already been through the crisis. Bitcoin traded down to $3,800, and still you have over 63% of all people that's held Bitcoin for a year or longer. That is one of the highest ratios, always the signal of the bull phase. 63% of people holding Bitcoin for over a year have not sold Bitcoin. They rode that down to 3,800. Do you think they're selling? No. All right. Let's keep going over here. Nasdaq rebounding a little bit. It's too soon. Right? Equities so far off their low. They've defended the support line over here. That's not a signal. You always look for the first possible signal. A little edge you give yourself is if you're looking to buy, waiting for price to make that higher high than the previous price bar. That's a little bit of an edge, because if price hasn't yet made that higher high, the momentum's going against you. There's no reason to lean in and buy. It's risky. It's a poor trade entry. That's a great question. Below 26, down over here around 24.50 is the next area of support. And then below that, you also have here at 23.15. If we lose 26, I'll add in the supports below. But the first support below 26 is 24.50. Now, you don't buy at 24.50 because you could blow past that. You wait to see if that support holds. If you're in an uptrend, you only buy off support in uptrends. Stop selling tops. Stop picking bottoms. Humans are wired to do that for whatever reason, but that's a losing man's game. Stop doing that. Look to buy off support in uptrends. If you break down over here and this support holds, and then you resume off of it, that's the place to lean in. Great questions. Thank you for sharing that, Thomas. I appreciate that. I'm glad I caught that comment. Now I'm focused in on the charts today, so I'm not really able to see too many of the comments. I'm focused on what's going on. It's an important day. Glad I caught that one, Thomas. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's go. We're going to check back in about 10 minutes on the equity markets. We'll check across the board. The area that we're watching, I want everyone to have that awareness of what's important today. Is this support over here? It's the low pre-market New York today, 93.14, right? That area over there. We're in no man's land, though, in the dollar. We continue to wait and stalk it. Kips is always talking about the patience of a wolf. right? The way that a wolf pack hunts together. You gotta learn patience. It's one of the single most important skill as a trader, right? I think a lot of people here get that patience from seeing, wow, patience pays off, right? For me, it came from once you learn how to make money, all of a sudden, discipline is the easiest thing in the world because all you want to do is continue making money, right? If you find yourself that you sit in front of the screen and you start taking a trade and then watching the market, great. You understand what you're doing wrong and what to fix. Spend way more time analyzing the markets, way less time attacking, and you're going to be much more like a precision sniper. Jordan, you talk much more about buying than selling. Well, I mean, not if you go look, all the videos are on the channel. Go back over to here to late February and into March. And all by the way, I had avoided the equity markets for the longest time up until this area over here when I all I did was attack to the short side. All as I did was attack to the short side and then started buying up here, right? It took me like 5 or 6 small losses over here to finally get it. But no, we're in an uptrend, right? And over here, I shorted also, and I was trying to short over here, here, and here because at that point, I thought this is where I thought into that resistance that was a good place to attack, right? This was a downtrend to me, and this was resistance. I saw resistance in downtrends, but then it became clear, and then from here on, right? From here on, call it June 15th, the middle of June. From here on, I've only been on the long side, and for rightfully so, right? Until I got neutral. So no, it's only because that's where we are right now. We have bullish structure in the market, right? So only trade with the trend, only buy off of support in uptrends, only sell off resistance in downtrends. But that's not true. I'm only talking about the upside because of the bullish structure of the market. It's only because of the bullish structure of the market. Once we get a technical break that says, all right, no longer do we have that bullish structure in place, I'll be attacking to the downside. All right, makes sense? Yes, stimulus is coming. I do. I'm almost certain of it. Stimulus is coming. Is it before the election? I think so. I think I give that a very large probability that by the end of this month, because they got a little bit, it doesn't have to be by the end of this month, but by the end of this month, they should have come to some type of agreement. If not, it's got to be the first couple of weeks of October. Otherwise, obviously, it's not happening. So we'll know soon. We'll know soon. And if it does not happen by the election, right after the election, it's going to happen. But people can't eat. People are suffering. All right, let's keep going over here. By the way, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take a lot. If you make the higher high, that's an entry signal. That's there. You know you're dead wrong. Well, if we come back down after making that higher high and then take that out, probably that is the signal to take that you time to exit that trade. Just for risk reasons alone. By the way, you based your position size off of how far away your stop loss is. Whether if your stop loss was here or here, you should be risking the same amount per trade. Now, is it possible that you get a long trigger right over here? Yes. Is it possible then you get stopped out and then it resumes? Yeah. Look over here. That happened right over here. Oh, it didn't happen. Over here, you got the signal long, come back down, but you never took out where that stop would have been. You never took it. I thought maybe you did, right? It would have held. What happens if you get stopped out? Let me stick with me. Follow this because this is what the market's showing right now. What happens if you take the long here, get stopped out, and then you resume back up again? That's the money trade again. Your risk is limited. Your risk is limited. Keep it limited. All right. Yes. Oh, yeah. I don't even worry about my take profit when I enter the trade. I have the stop in. I have to have the stop in as I enter the trade. Otherwise, I have no idea what my position size is. This position size is based off of how far away your stop is. All right, let's keep looking over here. By the way, if you're enjoying being here, if it's your first time, if it's your 100th time, if you're enjoying spending this time, and I am grateful for every one of you. Everyone knows that is here and part of this fam. That's for sure. Let's keep going. The dollar. I just need to know what's going on. We're coming back. This is important over here. Testing the low over here, right? Interesting. You're seeing gold so far holding that area of support over here. These lines are like magic, aren't they? Isn't that amazing? This is what you need to focus on. This is what you need to focus on, the market structure around support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns. Bitcoin, but Ethereum's still leading. All right. Welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you, Model 3 Life. Thank you, Mr. B. Thank you. I don't listen, Southern Style. It's nothing personal. Everyone knows. When I say everyone, I mean those that have spent any time here on this channel making it what it is. And this channel is made from its community. It's made from providing solid, unbiased analysis that helps people firm up their own. Whether you agree with it or not, it should make yours clearer, and helping people profit. If I don't read your comment, it's nothing personal. Sincerely. All the comments left on YouTube in the published videos in the afternoon, I try to read every single one of them, respond to them for sure. But why I'm doing the analysis, why I'm going over the charts, why I'm keeping myself and you on the right side of the market, I can't also be reading the comments. Listen, on Fridays, after we get our, we have some time more for chit chat and for talking about things, discussing, macro things that we all love. But don't take it personally. So, what's going on? Half hour since equity markets have opened. Guillermo, why I think the Nasdaq is going to lead up. For me, the entry is on the S&P this morning, right? If we get a trigger, it's on the S&P. The Nasdaq trigger for me, by the way, even though there's nothing wrong with knowing what's happening, observing it happening, as we looked at when I said, hey, look, those stops are being triggered. You're getting some people selling into support. And if we wick off there, a lot of people caught on the wrong side of the market. I'm not taking an entry up here into this resistance. I won't do that. I'll wait. There's nothing wrong with wait, even if this trade goes off and the Nasdaq leads on the way up, as I think it will. But the risk perspective of the S&P 500, I like it a lot more. It's better than a 1-to-1 risk into the first resistance. It's a better, from where my stop would be, a better than a 1-to-1 risk reward into the first resistance. And then as soon as that happens, I'm not exiting that trade. I'm just moving my stop loss to break even. And at that point, my risk to reward is now infinitely better. Boom, 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 boom. Apple's into some support down here this morning. Apple's into some support here this morning. And if it resumes off of that, that is a place to lean into. That's a decent pullback we've seen on Apple, huh? What is that? 20% pullback on Apple. Hey, so what's going on with Apple, right? They just had their keynote, whatever they call it, event. Who knows? First time in 8 years they didn't introduce a new iPhone. Why? Well, because the 5G is just, I guess, not ready to go here. They need to wait until they have that 5G ready to go and ready to sell. The Verizon CEO says he doesn't expect there to be too many sales. He said, look around you. Everyone is suffering right now. But at the end of the day, guess what's happening? It's the Federal Reserve. It's Jerome Powell and company who are there to buy Apple bonds, right? So that Apple raises money, because Apple is sitting on how much money in cash? Over $2 trillion. But they're there to buy the bonds so Apple will do more buybacks, raise the money. Is that a place to lean into Apple? I mean, I'm not interested, but a 20% pullback. What's down to the next support over there? 30% pullback. If you are, long-term minded, both of those seem like pretty decent areas. What's going on with Amazon, by the way? Amazon better. Wait, hold on one second. Amazon is notorious over the years for these 30% pullbacks. That's a 15% pullback, by the way. But look what's happening on the indexes. We have the potential here to be holding support. Listen, if you hold the support, the risk reward here is in our favor. This was the pullback people are waiting for. It's funny. People are always waiting for pullbacks, and then as the pullbacks come, they're scared to buy them. Why are they scared to buy them? Because they have no reference. What do we have as reference? We have support and resistance, right? All right, so let's keep going over here. Following the dollar has not moved since. It's a half hour since equity markets opened. Coming in, looking at gold and silver really quick. Boom. So far, holding the trend line. Same thing with silver. 26 is the area. Everything looks good, right? Markets, very, very, how do you say? Well, I don't know. Very precarious situation today. Let's take a look at FX for a little before we go back. Yep. Pierre, don't sell in an uptrend, Pierre. You're not going to make money in the long. You're not going to stick around, brother. Don't sell assets in uptrends. All right, let's go. Let's take a look over here. Euro US dollar. So far bouncing off the support, but still got a lot of work to do. We talked about how this is resistance now on the upside. Let me get a feel for what's going on here. Australian dollar, US dollar. By the way, could everyone see that channel that it's trading within? Like, do you see this channel? Not much of a, there's no edge here. Do you see resistance? Do you see support? Do you see we're in the middle of that? We're in no man's land. There's no edge whatsoever. A pullback into the support, that brings up an opportunity, as well as a break above the resistance. That also brings up an opportunity to go ahead and lean in to buy. Only looking to buy as we're in an uptrend. You got to wait for a big technical breakdown and for the trend to change before you're looking to start sell again. What's going on with the pound US dollar, right? Again, do you see it? No man's land. This all makes sense. Why does this make sense? I'll explain to you 1 second. First, I want you to see this is the support. This is the resistance. We're dead in the middle, right? No man's land. That's local support. A resumption off there is nice, but I wouldn't take it. Why does it make sense that we start looking at currency pairs and everything's in no man's land? Well, look at the dollar. Go back to the dollar over here, which is currently caught in no man's land, right? There's no trend. There's no clarity. That's where you are. If you get that understanding, you're going to save yourself from being caught inside consolidation. Consolidation is the most difficult time to trade in the markets. It's the most difficult time. The goal in any consolidation is to stay as close to break even as possible, but you're waiting for markets. What do they do after consolidation? They expand. You're waiting for the expansion to go ahead and position yourself in. That's where the money's made. That's where the money's made. Rich, glad you are with us. Anyone enjoying this video, anyone learning something new, go ahead and smash that like button. Please show a little bit of love. Please smash that. I had silver for 10 years. I agree. Buy Bitcoin, Pierre. I agree. I've held silver myself, Pierre, physical silver for over 10 years. Is it a terrible investment? Well, no, it's not a terrible investment. And I hope to pass that on to my kids, and I hope they pass it on to their grandkids, right? But Bitcoin right now is the single most important trade and the best investment over the next 14 months. Thank you, Roman. And as likewise, Roman, because that's the thing. That's what I love about working with you all. The more that we all lift up each other's game, the better. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everybody. That's right. If you want to hold on to your purchasing power, buy metals. Everyone should own physical metals. Ethereum, let's take a look. Ethereum, by the way, it was just right over here, right? This was on Monday, and we said if you're interested in buying Ethereum, if you're interested to add into Ethereum, as we're into the 360 support, a resumption off of it is the place to do it. That was on Monday's live stream or Tuesday's live stream. Why? 360 is a big level. $360 was look at this. This was the start of the bull market on Ethereum, right? We consolidated for 2 years. What happens after you get big consolidation bases? The bigger the base, the bigger the move to the upside or downside, right? But in this case, we all know that Ethereum is starting a bull market here, above 360 here, very bullish. Now it's dropped back down with me a little bit. And, you know, if you didn't buy over here, do you buy into the resistance? No. You got what is that? Sorry about that. You got resistance right over here. Right here, we got resistance. And this is where you're into. You don't want to buy here because it's not a high probability trade. You never want to buy into resistance or sell into support. And a lot of people do it. What you want to do is wait for a breakout above. If you get the breakout, probably go a little past 400. Wait for the pullback, either consolidation and then the resumption up, or wait for the retest at the exact level. The broken resistance should be support. Take it on the resumption up. That's a high probability trade. This is a low probability trade. Wait for that confirmation. J Powell had not. There was a lot of coughing going on. A lot of coughing on. Kip's guitar. I checked out the channel this weekend. I love it. Any comments on Monero? It has a great use case. Monero has a great use case, right? What's that use case? Privacy. The IRS has a bounty out. It's a lot of money. I don't know exactly how much. For some reason, it's a lot of money. $600,000. Anyone who could crack Monero, right? This has a big use case. What do I see though? I see this, and then I see this. That looks like not a textbook by any means whatsoever. But if you talk about the degree of the uptrend, I mean, it kind of looks like a bull flag. And again, listen, not textbook, right? Use your imagination here with me. But that looks like a giant bull flag. A breakout over there, right? And then a clear entry over there. Yeah, bullish. Now the better entry on a bull flag, by the way, is towards the bottom of the support, right? And if you were watching that, you definitely should have. Well, this trend line was here or not, I don't know. You should have picked up on over here. That's a better entry. But then if you break out again, also a great forward entry. Monero, if it breaks out over here, looks very bullish. What else? Chainlink's been suffering. Let's take a look at that over here. Let me draw this down over here. Ever since the Winklevoss brothers, went to Davey Day Trader's house and shilled him Chainlink, it's been been towards the top. What happened over here? I was watching that little pattern right over there, that little bit of a wedge. When we broke down of it, you could see conquering the markets all day long. Breakdown, retest, resumption down, boom. Now listen, where are we at right now? I don't know if I like that's a better line. Hold on. By the way, I'm going to check right 1 second back on the equity markets. I want to get a good read on the dollar and a good read on gold and silver. Then we'll come back. All right. Is that resistance that's support that's developing over down here? Maybe. I don't have a clear read. Actually, we're kind of in no man's land, right? She's in no man's land. Not a good read. For this to get bullish again, it's got two things to do. It's got to break this trend line, and then this one also. It's got to break above here. That's going to be that resistance right there, and that's big resistance. This resistance here by the way, whether or not you trade Chainlink or not doesn't matter. A market's a market, an instrument's an instrument, even if you only trade Microsoft. This is teaching you how to trade the markets, not a market. Now, get above this $12.92, this resistance here, that really regains the bullish structure of Chainlink, which right now is not looking very solid at all. It's got a lot of work to do to repair the damage that's been done. And will it do it? Listen, alt season hasn't even really begun yet. Alt season hasn't even really begun yet. I had it at beginning 6 months after the bull cycle, never after the Bitcoin halving. Nevertheless, Ethereum has entered its bull market, and alt season is going to pump. Bitcoin now down 1%. Let's take a look over here. Miguel, nice trading. Nice trading, Miguel. Let's look at it right now. Boom. Yeah, right there. I have a buy entry. Anyone interested right now on the S&P 500? Look, I mean, all day long. This is our prime support line over here, right? This keeps the bullish structure in place in the market, resuming off of it, making a higher high during a preferable time of day to trade. Right now, in the morning of New York, this is a money shot right here. Stop loss, I would have very tight. I would have it very tight. It would be at the low of overnight session over here. Why? Because after bouncing off of support and holding it, if you come back down and then break the trend line and the low of the yesterday, at that point, whether I don't want to be hoping. I just want to exit the trade. And then if that winds up holding, go back to over here just to give you an idea of that. You had the entry, retrace. Now it didn't make a lower low. You wouldn't have got stopped out, but it's possible. And then if you came back up, I would be looking to buy again, right? As long as you're holding this prime trend line over here, that's a place you want to be looking. So again, if you're learning anything, go ahead, support the channel. Subscribe, hit that like button, join us. This is a good place to be. How do you deal with stop hunting shackouts? Well, I mean, we're the ones who were aware of it, right? I said over this morning on the live stream, as we were trading down here this morning, I said, watch out. It looks like we're taking out those stops, that we're hunting those stops. Do not sell into support. We're the ones looking to hunt stops. We don't get our stop hunted. Yeah, Pierre. So one of the most serious mistakes people make in the markets, and one of the easiest things to correct. And once you correct it, all of a sudden you have really upgraded your game. Is stop selling tops and buying bottoms. Just stop doing that. It's human nature to do it. Everyone tries to do it. If you get lucky, you can make the most money on the turn like that. But it's just so silly. You know, rewire your brain and realize most people fail at trading. Most people fail at trading because they're doing the opposite of what needs to be done, which is what? Instead of cutting their losers shorts, they're holding and hoping, and they're taking profits way too soon. You know, just stop trying to sell tops, stop trying to buy bottoms, and already you've increased your chances of being successful in this. I continue to dollar cost average Bitcoin and will up and through about 18,000. Yeah, cruise lines. Who's booking a cruise? Cruises are down, what, 4% today, earlier in the session. I mean, is that, look, we're looking at a Bitcoin chart right now. Bitcoin is just not only entered the bull market. Here's where technically it entered the bull market, right? A break of this trend line over here. Let me show you what's going on over here. So, and right, look, this was the all-time high, right? This was the all-time high. By the way, this was the last halving. And then look what 2021, this is 2017. That's going to be 2021, all right? This was the break, the start of the bull market over here. We've come back in. What happens? Breakout, retest, resumption. This is the single best trade in my opinion. I am heavily positioned into this. I have over 50% of my portfolio on this trade. My money is where my mouth is, right? So cruise lines or Bitcoin. There's a playlist on the channel about Bitcoin. And the first 5 videos, if you invest your time in watching those, you will really understand the 4-year cycle and the opportunity in Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Bitcoin because of where we are in the 4-year cycle. Forget what the Fed's doing. Forget what the government's doing, which is all just fuel on that fire. I would be bullish on Bitcoin regardless. And believe me, in the winter of 2021, I will become ultra bearish on Bitcoin. As bullish as I am right now, I will become just as bearish. Yeah, I just said over 50% of my portfolio. All right, let's go. Let's check in over here. S&P right back down to the entry point over here, right? Dow making a higher high over there after what? Look, do you see how that resistance, broken, retested, is now support? Do you see that? Right? Nasdaq, we're all pretty on top of the Nasdaq over here. This morning we kind of nailed it, right? Gold, what's the dollar doing? The dollar is kind of flirting with the low of the day, has not yet taken out that low of pre-market New York. If it does, it's back into the consolidation over here. That's also a warning signal. It never made it above the resistance, that it could possibly, this is not happening now. I'm forward thinking of what could happen, right? Get back into here, and if it breaks down to the downside, then the dollar will be testing the yearly low. Because this right here got a lot of traders who didn't wait for confirmation. Always wait for confirmation on the wrong side of that trade. Right? Not much to say about gold except right now that it's holding the support. It has not yet resumed off of it. Always wait for it. That's a great signal if it happens. Why is it a great signal? Because your risk to... Excuse me. Let me take a sip of this matcha tea really quick. It's been... What are we on now? We're on... So far, we've been going here for an hour and 17 minutes. It's been a good session. I am glad for all... Yeah, it's coming soon. You know, everyone knows I've been fighting off that Lyme flare. You know, it's hard to keep energy. I want to make it a good one. There's no rush. There's like, as far as time wise, there's no rush. So I'm going to make sure I get it out and get it right. But I'm looking forward to it too, Dr. Loco, for sure. And I will get that video out at what I believe is the best way to trade the bull market phase of Bitcoin. But right now, right, what's the game plan? Anyone who's not into Bitcoin should take a position, in my opinion, and also those that have should be continuing to accumulate, but it'll be there on time. Yeah, I mean, so every single triple witching that ever occurs before it, everyone's like, there could be a lot of volatility, there could be a lot of volatility, and there could be a lot of volatility, but it really doesn't affect our trading. You know, the way that we view and trade the markets, it's just noise. Don't worry about it. It's probably good for headlines. No, I've never traded derivatives. I've never traded a option in my life. And if you're trading options, you better understand how they work, time decay and everything. If you're trading anything, you better be an expert, because this arena is where the gladiators fight. But you could use the exact same strategy that we use here with options. Boom, boom, boom. Strawberry jam. Thank you, brother. I think Rex, we run into a little bit at 11,300 that we look into a little bit of resistance over here. I do. Look, this was decent after breaking above here. This was decent support here going on for quite a while, almost 2 months. Now, on the way up, I expect it's going to be resistance. So because it was support and good support. So I expect that at the first look, we don't bang through, but eventually we're banging through there. That's again, that's not important, right? Why do I say that's not important? Because this is not a really big level, and eventually I think we take it out. I don't expect that we do it on the first push, you know, unless we get like, who knows, maybe tonight they announced that like they've come to an agreement and they're going to do $1.5 trillion in stimulus, and Bitcoin is like, okay, it could happen. Not too important there. Do you think that Bitcoin won't pop up till 2 years later? I'm not, you know, again, this is like Friday conversation, but I'm aware of the possible lengthening cycle theory, but I'm not on board with that whatsoever, right? I'm watching it because if it happens, it happens. By the way, even if we're entering the lengthening cycle of Bitcoin, my $140,000 price target in the winter of 2021 stands. Even with the lengthening cycle, we should hit my target. Dr. Loco actually shared a chart on Twitter that I was able to go ahead and discuss that and say, even if we're entering my target still stands, it should still hit. So, but the reason for the 4-year cycle, in my opinion, is because of the fact that the halving of the miner's reward is reduced, right, every year cut in half. So I think the cycle revolves around that. If we're entering a lengthening cycle, it's possible. I'm watching and awaiting and aware of it. Yes, in winter of 2021. That's not far away. That's what? That's like I'm talking a 10, 15x in 14 months. Kips, I love the comment. They won't pass stimulus because stimulus benefit, right? This is a positive and supportive community. You either get on board. It's contagious. Why wouldn't it grow that much in a year? It's done it every other cycle before. Why would this time be different? But Brandon, Alexander, seriously, go to the Bitcoin playlist on this channel. Watch the first 5 videos, and then you see what you think. But I'm always want to know the other side of my trade, and I always want to know the other argument. I'm always want to learn from the person that says different than myself, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be right. I just want to know what is, right? So check it out. Paul, thanks for the support, brother. I appreciate that very much. Thanks for showing that love. That's definitely awesome of you. I mean, so the difference between Bitcoin and gold is a well-established asset class that has been around since basically the dawn of whatever, right? So Bitcoin is only 10 years old, and Bitcoin is full of price discovery as it gains market share. I don't know today what the market cap of gold is, but when gold was trading around 14,000, it was like 7.5 trillion, right? Why Bitcoin is like 200 billion, right? So as gold gains that $1 trillion market cap, and then every single fund in the world at that point has to take notice, has to take a position, right? Bitcoin, as you know, probably it takes a while. When I say a while, it probably takes another 5 years. I do think 5 years from now, there is a strong probability that Bitcoin is challenging gold's market cap. What would the price of Bitcoin be 5 years from now? It's going to be somewhere around, let me be conservative, $450,000 as it comes close to gold's market cap. I'm being conservative there, probably to overshoot to the upside. Now, don't get me wrong. For sure during the bear market that comes, 2021, 2022, Bitcoin's going to be trading all the way down around $30,000, $40,000. So again, I'm not sure how he did that. I'm not sure how he was able to go ahead and I think it was through the super chat at the top of the chat. No, I don't think. Listen, Ben, I mean, I think I'm just going to pause here for one more second, and then I want to get back into these charts over here. Listen, will Bitcoin ever be commonly used as currency? I mean, gold isn't, right? I don't go buy coffee with gold. Now it's very easy to buy coffee with Bitcoin, right? Especially using the Lightning Network. Very easy to do, and that's the one advantage Bitcoin has over gold. But if and whenever it's used as a common currency, you won't even know that you're using it. It's kind of like email, right? You know how to compose and send an email, but you don't know how email works. You're using it without knowing how it works. It'll be the same thing as Bitcoin, but it probably will not be used as the dollar is used as common currency. I don't think the dollar is going anywhere. I don't think the dollar is going anywhere at all, except digital. All right, let's keep going over here. Let's take a look around. Let's see what's going on with S&P, right? S&P, let me come down to a small time frame just really quick so I get a look at that price action. Do you guys see what's happening over here? Do you see over here this little bit? It's not clear. That's like a little bit of support and then resistance. So we're kind of right into that local support right now. Let's see if this is where it holds now and resumes off of. Now let me also take a look at the Dow and the Nasdaq on these small time frames to see if that's also the same thing. Oh, look how these magic lines work. The Dow came right into that resistance so far, right? Looking bullish though. Nasdaq, right into this area of support, regains this. Very bullish price action happening this morning. Let's see what else is going on. DXY is on the verge of taking out the lows of the day over here. It's flirting with it. It's still indecisive. Gold holding so far that trend line. Silver making a higher high over here. That's why we had the 26 line in. That's why we had that 26 line in there to protect us. And Bitcoin, it's off on the day, but Ethereum is definitely making the move. Remember the day before when I said, look, if Bitcoin's doing the hard work, leading everything. It does the hard work, and now Ethereum is playing the catch up. That's very bullish overall for a cryptocurrency. Yes, not even a little bit. I think it's going to drop 80-85% off its all-time high. That's the norm, and I'm not looking to sell that drop. I'm not looking to sell that drop. I don't want to sell that drop. I just want to buy back in, and we'll time it. I think I need to take a sip of tea here for a second. We've gone strong for an hour and a half. Yeah, thank you. It's been a good and important session. I'm glad we were here together to navigate it all, right? I'm going to do up to every Monday through Friday, right? By 5 o'clock p.m. I have an update that I publish on the channel, right? And that's all because a lot happens between now and the close, and that's just to keep us all in the rhythm. The whole idea of trading is to stay in the flow of the market. The more time you spend looking at the charts and doing your analysis, the more of the feel you get. That sets you up for the attack. That's why after the session finishes, we'll look at is it possible by the end of this session that we've seen gold making higher highs, that we've seen the S&P take out our stops over there and this resistance and everything faded? Sure, that's all possible. That's why we're going to check in together later on and see what's going on and continue solving this puzzle. That's right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for this session. Thanks for the energy. Thanks for the support. Thanks for really the positivity. Thanks for making my day brighter. Thanks for that. It's really important to me. I'm grateful that every morning I look forward to being here with you. So from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all a beautiful day. A beautiful, beautiful day. Right, good vibes. Night, Rex. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. It really is a nice way to say thank you. Smashing that like button. When I'm doing my analysis and I see those thumbs flying, it just really helps me keep going with the flow. It's a team thing, you know? It's a team thing. Welcome, Joe. Oh, only ceremonial grade. Only ceremonial grade. Thank you, Sam. Tom, Alan, awesome. That's the goal. Growth mindset. Learn a little bit more every day. Miguel, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate you too. Gips, beautiful day. Oh, I love the music. The music puts me in the right frame of mind. It's gonna grow on you. It's gonna get you. It's gonna sneak up on you. It's gonna change you. Thank you, Ricardo. Gracias. Thank you, Gemma, for being such a nice influence of positivity here. Positivity breeds positivity. Growth mindset is essential for success. Ready, steady. Right back at you, brother. All right, everybody. I'll see you all later. Have a beautiful day. Thanks, Liz. I appreciate that so much. Gerard. Ben, I think that's pace or peace. Peace out, brother. Thank you, Sam. Every day's a learning experience. That is growth mindset. And listen, it's just what the market gives us. We can only learn what the market gives us on that particular day. The process. We got to take what the market gives. Brandon, I mean, all the videos are on the channel if you want to go back over there. But I got some nice entries down over there. One at, I don't know if it was 48, another at 5,000, 6,000, and then we started accumulating all the way up. Matt, Roman, 1.1 likes. Wow, thank you, everybody. That's awesome. So important because listen, we want to be here not only tomorrow, not only 5 years from now, but 20 years from now. I've been trading 20 years now, right? Patience is what makes the difference. I just draw them on TradingView. Right over here, you go trend line, and that's how I draw my trend lines. Great to have you. Welcome. Glad you're here with us. We'll do every morning. There's a link below for Telegram. I share the link every morning as we go live to alert you. There'll be a video in the afternoon posted by 5 o'clock Eastern time as an update what happened the rest of the day. Oh, wow. Interesting, Johnny Utah. Awesome, Ben. Young Sung. Peace. Thank you. Love this community. Love this community. It's amazing. Jeff, God bless you too, brother. Everyone, as JoJo said, have a marvelous day. I'll see you all tomorrow.